everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me once again for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside, that smokiness of lapsang and the other great ingredients. I put all organic ingredients into every one of my teas, right? If you haven't tried them, you should go take a look. Check them out. Head over to darkmoonteas.com or head over to my website, JCristina.com. Pick something up. Also, if you're a subscriber, use promo code YT20 at checkout. So if you're there and you pick up any of my photography products, maybe a preset or maybe some tea or whatever it is, use YT20 at checkout and you'll get 20% off anything you buy. Anyways, guys, TGIF, guys. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It is Friday. Today's going to be kind of like a recap, but more or less news that's going on as of today. And instead of just covering one thing, there's three things that really stand out to me. I want to get into them a little bit with you guys. So it's not anything specific. It's just a bunch of news as of today. Number one, we have Canon finally goes from their beta into an actual release, 1.0 release of their EOS webcam utility. As I've said in the past, many companies are doing this. They should have done this years ago, but they didn't. Well, after COVID, the coronavirus happened and everyone's on Zoom and all of these telemedicine, telejuries, telecourt, everything is tele, right? We need to be able to do this. And the webcams were just really not doing it well, all right? So all the major manufacturers came up with software, webcam software for their cameras. And that's what ended up happening here with the Canon. And Canon was first to do it. And when they did release it, I was like, wow, this is really amazing. All right. I can't believe that they're actually doing it. So they did it and now everyone's doing it. Well, 1.0 is available. The problem is 1.0 is not working on their website. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we're going to get into it in just a second. Also, there was reports that Nikon ended up doing really well with sales for their DSLR cameras, but really didn't do great when it came to mirrorless. Now remember, these are 2019 numbers, not 2020, but it just gives you an idea of where they stand. In 2019, they were number 2 when it came to DSLR sales. So we'll get into some sales figures and some numbers with that. And also Sony. I've told you guys this in the past, that Sony's one of those companies, they don't play around, all right? If something's not working, they just ditch it, all right? And they don't really care too much about it. If it's not beneficial to their bottom line, they're gone. Well, they wrote a letter basically to all retailers in Brazil and said, you know what, we're out of here. Anyways, we'll get into that in just a second. So let me start out by saying, if you haven't went ahead and downloaded my ebook, go over to jcristina.com/ebook. Once again, jcristina.com/ebook. 10 tips at making tack sharp images. Something there for amateurs, pro-ams, professionals. You're going to get something out of it, and it's free. Once again, jcristina.com/ebook. Go pick it up. So let's start out with Canon. I'm going to head over to Canon's site. Now, let me see if I can bring you along on this journey. Here we go. All right, so this is Canon's site. If you want to pick up this software, all right, this webcam software, you need to come here and then type in your camera model. So for me, I'm going to use the 80D as a camera model because that's what we're using currently to record the vlog. Now, here's the Canon 80D page. We're going to go over here to driver and downloads. And then from here, we can see EOS Webcam Utility 1.0 for Windows. Now, this used to say Webcam Utility 0.9 beta. So now we're at 1.0, which is great. So we're going to hit select here. And now it says, hey, what's your information? So I'm going to just hit jcristina@gmail.com. Just for something, just so that we have something in here. And then as far as you want to be opt-in to their promotions and whatnot, I'll just hit no. Did you use the EOS Webcam Utility Beta for Windows or Mac in the past? Absolutely. It worked pretty well. I will primarily use the EOS Webcam Utility for video chat, conferencing, or streaming. So I'm going to just put both in here. And then I hit submit. Now it takes that information and it brings you back to the screen where you can actually download the software. So we come over here to download, we hit the button, womp, womp, womp. That's what we get. We get a permission error. It says you don't have permission to access this file. And there's the file in their download directory called EOS Webcam Utility Win 1.0 zip. Period. End of story, guys. End of story. So, yeah. I don't know why they do that. Companies do that all the time. They'll say, hey, look, we got something absolutely great. And then when you go there, this is what ends up happening. This is what you get. So hopefully there's other people like me that will be putting this online and they'll look at it and say, oops, oops. I thought I was going to be recording this video on the new Webcam Utility 1.0. And I would be able to show you that. And the answer to that is no, can't do that. Why? Because we have a referral error because we have a permission problem. All right. So that's the end of that. But just, kind of round robin here, bring it back to the beginning. The Canon Webcam Utility, I think, is awesome. They did a really good job with it. It's very lightweight and it stays behind the scenes. It's not one of those things that you have to have up front all the time for it to work. But it has a lot of functionality because it allows you to use a lot of different cameras. Now, what this 1.0 allows you to do, whereas the other ones didn't, is bring on board a lot more cameras as well as more programs. So it'll be able to use more programs. So as you can see here with this list, let me bring this up. These are the programs that are usable currently. We have Cisco's WebEx, Messenger, Streamlabs, Discord, Microsoft Teams, YouTube Live, Live Facebook Live, Open Broadcaster Software, Zoom, Hangouts, Skype, Hangout Meet, as well as Slack. Now, if we scroll down here, you can see all of the cameras that are now available. Now, I'm not going to read all these off, but you see how many? Before, there was literally about maybe 12. So definitely go check that out. If you are currently using a Canon camera, chances are your camera is probably on here. I mean, I see the R5 and the R6 and the RA and the R on there. Those are relatively new cameras, so they are on there already. So that's really good. Now, as far as the software goes itself, like I said, I've used it and it works really well. So if you have a Canon camera and you want to be able to use that camera as a webcam, as of right now, you can, as soon as they let you download the software. Kind of is what it is, guys. Anyways, next thing on board here is the Nikon story. Now, Nikon sold a ton of DSLRs back in 2019. They did really well. Well, the mirrorless side of Nikon really didn't do fantastic for 2019. We're now in 2020. We have the virus and all of this stuff. So all sales are down. So we would just have to be able to look at them in comparison to other companies. Now we can see here some sales numbers. Now shipments of interchangeable lenses in 2020, Canon pulls up as number one, in the number one position. Now, is that anything that's odd? No, they're always in the number one position. Then we have Nikon in number two, and then we have Sony, then Fuji, Olympus, and then finally other, which is every other brand that's out there. Now next comes mirrorless cameras. Now we have Sony as number one with 1.65 million. Then we have Canon in number two. Then we have Fujifilm, Olympus, Nikon, basically second to last, and then finally other, obviously, in last place. So you can see here that in the mirrorless side of things, Nikon really didn't do well at all in 2019. Now, how they do in 2020 with their new mirrorless cameras, that's yet to be seen. But I think that the numbers are definitely interesting. I do find it interesting that they have the numbers that they do. Canon with 940,000 cameras sold, where we had Sony for 2019 with 1.6 million. I have a funny feeling those numbers are going to become very, very close for 2020. 2019, remember, Canon didn't have a lot of mirrorless cameras. Now they do. So how are they going to compare with Sony? I have a funny feeling that they're really going to catch up, maybe even beat Sony when it comes to mirrorless camera sales. We will see. Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, they will remain in the number one position when it comes to the DSLR sales, period. One of the reasons why they remain number one for camera sales in general, and definitely obviously in DSLR camera sales, is kind of leads us into this third story, and it has to do with Brazil and Sony. Now, we said that in the beginning of this vlog that Sony was going to be pulling out of Brazil, and that is exactly what is happening here. Now, what is said is basically this. Sony sent an official announcement to all retailers in Brazil. First, the company will be shutting down its electronics factories in Manaus by March of 2021, putting approximately 220 people out of work. And second, sales of consumer electronics such as TVs, audio, and cameras, all of which are produced domestically in this factory, will be shut down in the middle of the same year. So what this means is Sony is pulling out of Brazil. And I know there was an article over on, I think it was Petapixel, that they interviewed or spoke to someone that was over there in Brazil. And the person was originally a Nikon shooter. And Nikon pulled out of Brazil like right around 2018. And at that time, they went ahead and went to the Sony platform. Well, now we're in 2020. They spent a ton of money to move over into the Sony camp, let's say, and now Sony is pulling out also. And they said now they have to sell all of their Sony equipment to buy Canon. Once again, round robin, back to what we were saying about Canon. Canon is one of those companies that are just like steadfast. It's like a company that people can always rely on being there. And even though they do absolute stupid crap a lot of times when it comes to neutering their cameras, they're still around. There's still support, and they're going to be around for the long term. And I think that's why they get a lot of camera sales, because people just feel confident in the brand that they're not going anywhere. Now, I've said this many times in the past. Sony is a company that if they see figures plunge, they just nix it. They're not one of those companies that are like sentimental, all right? They're like, we're really sorry, but sales aren't great over there, and due to market conditions, we're going to shut down everything in Brazil. We're really sorry. But we thank you for your collaboration over the last 48 years. I mean, they literally said, confident of being able to count on your understanding, we thank you in advance for your always prompt attention and collaboration with Sony Brazil. Really? And they finalize the note with, we are able to schedule a meeting so that we can share and detail the next steps of this trajectory, basically of us pulling out. Remember, this is a message that's going out to all retailers that carry the Sony brand of product. Now remember, this is Sony brand of product. It's not just like one product and that is it. No, it's like their electronics, their consumer electronic stuff. That is TV, that is audio, and of course that is cameras. All of it in totality. Now, they did say that they were going to keep facilities there for doing any type of repairs that they need to have, let's say, in compliance with local laws. So if they need to have one facility to be able to do repairs on an entire country of sales, then that's what they'll do. Whatever they need to do, the absolute minimus is what they will do. And that's just how it is. So this is one of the things that I've told you guys about Sony. I like the brand. I mean, just yesterday I did a piece on the Sony PS5 and how I'll probably most likely get one, because I like the brand when it comes to certain things. But when it comes to their cameras, even though I do like their cameras, and I think that the Sony A7 Mark III was probably the best thing that Sony has done since day one. Since the day one that they came out with the A7, using that as a loss leader and bringing a lot of new blood into the Sony biosphere, I thought was absolutely amazing. And they did it for under $2,000. It was brilliance. It was brilliance, period. All right. And I've said this. And I've told people in the past too, if you want an under $2,000 mirrorless camera, you know, Sony has a pretty good camera with their A7 Mark III. Now we have other cameras, but this is something that I've said from the beginning. So it's not that I'm hating on Sony. I'm just saying that Sony is a company that doesn't play around. It doesn't mince words. It doesn't kind of meander around things. When the crap hits the fan and they are not liking the way the market looks for a specific camera line, they will nix it. They don't care. They're not emotional, let's just say. All right? Which is good and it's bad. It's been like this since the very beginning. So anyways, guys, that's just a little bit of news that's been kind of out here on Friday on that TGIF where we're all just getting ready to head out for the weekend. I want to just take some time to say hello and give you some information on what's going on. So a couple of you guys were asking me in an email that I got, I think it was 2 days ago, about how I do coloring and whatnot when I'm actually shooting on location or when I'm doing this vlog. And what I do is I use like a gray card. You see this? All right, this is what I use. Now this right here is the PRT. I invented this about 2 or 3 years ago now. On the back side, you have dual access color control. This dual access color control allows you to dial in color exactly the way you want it. You could neutralize color with this, of course, like any other gray card, but this is like a gray card on crack, all right? So using this dual access color control, I can dial in just by clicking anywhere on here. I can dial in the image however I want it. Well, unlike a lot of people that will go into their software and just drag their yellow slider, right? And they'll make things warm by making it more yellow or moving it in the other direction. And what will happen is now people will look a little bit warmer, but their eyes turn yellow, their teeth are yellow, and they look jaundiced and they're about ready to kick the bucket. Well, that's not how this works. Instead, what I'm doing here is when we add yellow, we're also adding a percentage of green and magenta. Why is that? Well, because you have not only your color, which is blue to yellow, but you also have your green to magenta to balance things off. All right. Too many of you guys, and you know who you are, just take your slider and slide it to warm, right, to yellow, or slide it to blue and say, okay, we cooled or we warmed up the picture. Well, that's not how it works. All right. You have to take into consideration your green to magenta at the same time. And that's what these tracks or these little patches do. All right. So anyways, guys, if you want to pick one of these up, they look like this whenever you look for them. They're over there on B&H Photo and Video. Great guys over there. You can also find them over on Amazon.com. They're Prime, so you can get them delivered for free. Or you can go over to my website, JCristina.com, pick it up there. Once again, use that promo code YT20 at checkout, and you get 20% off that and everything else that's in your shopping cart. So anyways, that is the PRT, the photo reference tool that I came up with years ago now, that a lot of people are using worldwide. So anyways, that is it, guys. That is it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel as of yet and you like some of this content, if you like it, number 1, subscribe. Number 2, throw it a big thumbs up. By thumbs upping the video, the YouTube gods will look kindly on the video and say, hey, you know, other people might want to see this. So definitely do that. And if you are subscribed, click this little button right over here, this bell icon. So when I go live, you'll be notified of it, or if there's new videos that come out, you will also get notification. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. I really do appreciate it. That's it. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. TGIF. We'll see you in the next one. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe and stay healthy.